we go. Oh shit! Oh shit! Let's see. 2 minutes left, baby. Let's see what you got. King of Africa. See. Now he's gonna hold. He's gonna hold for. Oh! Oh! Fuck! I'm sorry, chat. I wanted to see a finish. Oh, that would have been epic if he would have done that.
For Dricus to come back from that and bridge the gap between him and Khamzat, that is a tall task.
Yeah.
It's a tall task because that kind of dominance, that kind of grappling dominance was not just a level. It was multiple levels. And it just didn't seem like he had any answer for that. I don't know who he brought in to train with him, but clearly he didn't bring in anybody that had that kind of...
Incredible energy in the crowd, incredible fight itself. Khamzat's performance, I mean, was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Give us your takeaway of it. And did you see before this fight that being the possible way it was going to play out?
No. The lead up to this fight, I said, I bet the main event is the fight of the night. Didn't see that coming, but not shocked either. I mean, you go in and dominate the way that he dominated. If you can do it the first round, more than likely you're going to do it the second and throughout the rest of the fight.
Yeah. There was a time, I think Dricus tried a guillotine. I'm assuming there was never any danger.
I hope I can die before the next somebody submit me there.
Okay.
Does this win in a way, like the way you won, almost prove something more? Like a lot of people are questioning your cardio. Can you go 5 rounds? All that stuff. Like, does it feel good to kind of shut those people up a little bit?
I don't care what people think about, but doing my thing. So, like you said, how many strikes I landed on him, how many takedowns I has there. So I didn't guess out. So now they know.
Yeah, it was 529 total strikes and 21 minutes and 40 seconds of control time, which was the second most ever in a UFC fight.
Yeah. How many takedowns was there?
Let's see.
Yeah.
You had 12 takedowns.
So, yeah, that's big by itself.
Now that the showdown between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus Du Plessis is in the books, let's rewind and see what experts predicted beforehand. From bold knockout claims to razor-thin decisions, analysts had plenty of takes on how this matchup might unfold. Kicking things off with Tim Welch, he hyped it as one of those rare fights you circle months ahead. He highlighted how dangerous Du Plessis had been lately, listing the big names he's beaten, and stressing how even when he looks gassed, he keeps pushing until his opponent breaks.
Fight I'm fired up for. I haven't been fired up for the fight like this for a long time. We got Dricus, the middleweight champion of the world, 31 years old, 23-2, African. He's got 9 KOs, 11 submissions. He is on a fat win streak. Took out Darren Till, took out Derek Brunson, took out Robert Whitaker, Sean Strickland, Izzy Adesanya, Sean Strickland again. The guy's a freak show athlete. There's this video on my YouTube going him submitting a full team of Gracie Baja black belts. He's got incredible cardio. It looks like he's completely fatigued and he will just push through. He's went the distance with Sean Strickland twice. He went to the 4th round with Izzy Adesanya where he ended up getting the finish. So he's used to going to those deep walls.
Tim then shifted his focus to Khamzat, describing him as the nightmare opponent nobody wants to prep for. That insane first-round blitz, the pressure, the suffocating pace, it's like he's betting everything on the opening minutes. But Tim also warned of the flip side. If Khamzat couldn't end it early, the fight could swing the other way fast.
He's taken on the absolute freak show, Khamzat Chimaev, 6'2", 31 years old. He's 14 wins with 0 losses, 6 KOs, 6 submissions, and Khamzat is a freak. This guy would be a nightmare to prepare for. But all of his fights, he went to decision one time with Kamaru Usman, with Gilbert Burns also. But remember, he comes out, he goes 0 to 100, he sprints at you. The pace for a 5-round fight is so much different. He's throwing all his chips down that he's gonna finish you. And if he doesn't, there's a good chance he's not winning a decision. Took out Robert Whitaker, Usman, Kevin Holland, Gilbert Burns, Jingling. The Usman fight, remember, if that was 2 more rounds, who knows what would have happened. And in every one of his fight, he comes out and blitzes at you. So obviously, if Dricus can survive the first 5 to 8 minutes, his chances of winning.
When it came to picking a winner, Tim leaned toward Du Plessis surviving the storm and turning things late. He pictured a finish in the championship rounds, not as a knock on Khamzat's skill, but as the kind of upset that would leave fans stunned, saying, "Wow, that really happened."
Dricus gets it done. TKO in the 4th or 5th round. That's crazy.
Belal Muhammad, however, saw things differently. He felt this fight actually favored Khamzat more than people realized. While many insisted Khamzat had to finish early, Belal dismissed that, pointing to moments where Du Plessis looked vulnerable before. In his eyes, Khamzat's mix of striking and grappling was something Du Plessis hadn't dealt with at this level.
Of DDP, who do I got? I've been saying it. I think Chimaev's going to make it look easy. I think it's going to be one of those fights, matches up very well for him. The whole world saying he needs to finish it early. If he gets later in the rounds, he's going to get tired. He's going to gas. I don't think that's the case. I don't think DDP has the best gas tank. Yeah, he's gone into later rounds. He's been in wars, but he hasn't fought anybody like...
Belal broke it down simply. Take Du Plessis down, keep him there, and make him work for every move. He pointed to past fights where others had found success on the ground against Dricus, adding that Khamzat's knack for locking in submissions could seal the deal if the chance appeared.
I think it'll be easier at Dricus. You take him down, I think it'll be easier to hold him down. We've seen guys like Brunson take him down. Even Darren Till had great positions on him on the ground. Chimaev's different than both those guys. When he finds your neck, when he sees your neck, he goes for the kill. He goes for the jugular. And I think that if Dricus leaves an opening, Chimaev will find it and he'll get the finish.
On the feet, Belal didn't ignore Du Plessis' awkward but dangerous style, but he argued that Khamzat had already dealt with faster and sharper strikers. To him, as long as Khamzat stayed composed and timed his entries well, a finish was definitely possible. In Belal's words, he expected Khamzat to make it look easy.
This is awkward style, looping punches, weird punches. And we've seen you get hit, we've seen you get rocked, but I think that you're going to see those looping punches a lot better with Chimaev. He's not going to be as fast as Gilbert Burns. He's not going to be as fast as Kamaru. And when he shells up, he does have a really good shell. Just slow pace yourself. When he shells up like that, I think go for the shot. Take him down, hold him down, stay on top. Wear on him. I don't think he does have the cardio advantage, like the world says. I think your cardio is good enough to compete with his. DDP's keys to victory. If you do get taken down, play it safe, hold him, and even play guard, lock your guard up.
Michael Bisping raised the stakes by calling this one of the biggest middleweight title fights in years. He acknowledged Khamzat's power, unbeaten streak, and wrestling dominance, especially dangerous in the opening minutes. Bisping expected Khamzat to come out fast, score an early takedown, and likely control the first round. Still, he compared Du Plessis to a mix of Gilbert Burns' submission defense and Kamaru Usman's toughness, but with extra size. That, he felt, could help Du Plessis weather the storm.
Khamzat Chimaev is going to go forward in round 1. He's probably going to dominate the first round. He's probably going to get a takedown. And the big question is, can Dricus stop him? Can he defend the takedowns? Now, a lot of people can't. A lot of people can't stop the submissions, but Gilbert Burns could and Kamaru Usman could. Now, when you look at Gilbert Burns, one of the best jiu-jitsu games in all the UFC. So you think about that and you think, well, Dricus doesn't have that kind of jiu-jitsu. But then you look at Kamaru Usman, and he was able to go to a decision, and yeah, okay, granted, ridiculous wrestling credentials, but naturally a welterweight, and he also took it on short notice. Now, Dricus has got a little bit of Gilbert, and he's got a little bit of Kamaru Usman, and he's a lot bigger than both of them.
From there, Bisping imagined the momentum shifting. He said if Du Plessis could endure the early danger, Khamzat's pace would slow. By round 3, the fight could tilt toward Du Plessis, who had proven he could go deep into tough fights and still hunt for finishes, something Khamzat hadn't shown yet.
But I think that Dricus weathers the storm in the first round. The storm gets a little bit lighter, like just here. The rain has just calmed down. We've still got a little bit of spitting. That's going to be Khamzat in the third round. There'll still be a threat. There'll still be some danger, right? I will get wet if I go outside, but I ain't going to get drenched, okay? And that's not a bad analogy, to be fair. And then I think Dricus Du Plessis starts to take over, has success in the third round, starts to land, starts to grow in confidence. We haven't seen Khamzat Chimaev pushed to the limit over 5 rounds. We've seen Dricus in the 5th round and the 4th round. We've seen what he's like when he gets tired, and we know that he's still hunting the finish, just like he did against Israel Adesanya. So
Bisping still left the door open. Khamzat might dominate start to finish if things went his way. But if the fight dragged into the later rounds, Bisping believed Du Plessis would be pressing forward, landing more, and possibly finding a late stoppage.
And the reality is that for all the work that Khamzat Chimaev is going to do, that he has done, for the amount that he has pushed himself, You can't be a sprinter and a marathon runner at the same time. Khamzat Chimaev is probably the best first round fighter that the sport's turning fight. I think Dricus is going to leave that with some new scars. He's going to be bloodied and bruised, and it's going to be a tough, absolute dogfight back and forth, and then he's going to start to fade, and Dricus takes over. And Dricus Du Plessis will still be the middleweight champion of the world, and I think wouldn't surprise me if he got a late stoppage in the fourth.
Joe Rogan chimed in by comparing Du Plessis' engine to elite cardio freaks like Merab Dvalishvili. He explained how some fighters hit a rare level of conditioning where they just never fade. To him, Du Plessis seemed to be one of those rare machines.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
And there's guys, and you know this because you work with Merab, there's guys that reach this level of discipline and they achieve a level of cardiovascular performance that's just above everybody else's, and then they maintain it. Like, they get that advantage and they keep pushing it and they slowly keep adding onto it. Like, you're seeing Merab now. Like,
oh my God.
Particularly in the second O'Malley fight, you're seeing just like a totally different beast. He's just super
non-stop,
and you can't
relentless.
You can't keep up with that. You know, he's like, it's just hard work. It's just hard work.
Yeah.
I believe that, but man,
yeah, but state of mind too. Like he believes it mentally.
but
you
it's
know?
the amount of hard work is extraordinary to get to that level, and I think Dricus is kind of a similar
that kind
thing.
of guy.
I think that dude works so hard that he can go out there and fight.
Rogan also noted that Khamzat had been working with renowned coach Sam Calavita, who had trained guys like TJ Dillashaw, Aaron Pico, and Arman Tsarukyan. Calavita's focus on recovery and scientific training methods helped Khamzat avoid overtraining and burning himself out before fights.
It's going to be interesting to see if it gets into deep water. That's what's going to be interesting, because I know he started training with Calavita. So he went
for his conditioning.
Yeah, he went to Sam Calavita, who trained TJ Dillashaw.
Yep.
He works with Aaron. Said the problem was Khamzat overtrained for every fight, and he would always come into fights worn out. And that was the difference between working with Calavita. That they're monitoring his actual recovery. They're making sure they're doing everything scientifically. Calavita, I think his background is in cycling. It was in endurance sports.
Yeah. Rogan praised Khamzat's speed, especially coming up from welterweight, and pointed to his devastating KO over Gerald Meerschaert and dominant win over Kevin Holland. Still, he highlighted Du Plessis' ability to expose opponents' patterns, recalling how he set up Robert Whittaker despite his awkward movement. In short, it might look strange, but it works, and he's got legit knockout power.
About Khamzat
should be a good one.
All these guys were 170s, right? You're right about that. But with 170 comes speed, right? And Khamzat's speed is a factor. It's a big factor with his hand speed. He's, people forget because like what he did to Kevin Holland, the way he could ragdoll guys on the ground, but what he did to Gerald Meerschaert is pretty fucking spooky too.
That's a really good punch. Really good punch.
It's technical and sharp and straight down the middle.
He's a very well-rounded guy.
He's fucking good standing up, man. Yeah. He's good standing up, and that's where it's going to be weird. That's where I want to see, because Du Plessis makes everybody look stupid. He finds a way
to get every mistake.
He must got a lot of power,
but they're not mistakes. He for sure has a lot of power. But someone did a great breakdown of what he did with Robert Whittaker, where he set up that right hook, and the way he was like recognizing that Whittaker had this certain pattern, and it's not like. It looks weird because he just moves different than everybody else.
That's all. He's
stiff. Whatever it is, it works.
For Rogan, the big question was simple. Would Khamzat risk going all out for the finish and gas himself, or could he sustain that pace for 5 rounds? Because everyone already knew Du Plessis could.
Does he have the confidence to go for it and possibly empty the gas tank and get the finish? And if he doesn't, how fucked is he?
He has no other way. I don't think I think take down and smash. That's what he wants.
Right.
That's what he makes no,
Yeah, you can't adjust
he's not
now.
disguising it.
Yeah, you can't adjust now in the world championship fight. You got to just hit the gas.
I think instinct's going to kick in, and he is a sprinter. You know what I mean?
But that's the question: is can he sprint for 5 rounds?
Max Holloway added his perspective, saying trying to wrestle with Khamzat wasn't the answer. It usually led to Khamzat controlling everything. But he warned that Du Plessis' unpredictable style could be a nightmare too. 1 second he's lunging in, the next he's countering or shooting from a weird angle. It was chaos you couldn't really prepare for.
Guys, if Du Plessis took anything, I saw his coach talking about how they want to take the wrestling to him and whatever. That is not the way you're going to beat him. This guy is just going to wrestle back with you. You need to anti-wrestle the of him. You need to not wrestle back. And then maybe later on get him tired and you wrestle back. But I mean, we all see it. We all see it on Instagram. We all see it on YouTube. Like, how do you get ready for a style like him? Like, he runs at you. He does it. He's a over pusher. And then he's like a too much laid back counter striker. And then he just wrestles. Like, he does like a power double close, and then he shoots far and then goes to like for an ankle pick. There's just so much that Du Plessis does that you cannot get ready for one thing. The man is a wild man, bro. It must be a headache getting ready for him. At least with Khamzat, you see what Khamzat does. He goes in there, he shoots. If his shots fail, he comes up to a body clinch. And then he tries to come to a body clinch, and he tries to get you back down. You know what I mean? It is so hard to.
For Max, cardio was the X factor. He still remembered Khamzat fading against Usman as the fight dragged. If the gas tank didn't hold, Du Plessis could take over. Holloway summed it up clearly: if it ended early, it was probably Khamzat. If it went long, it was Du Plessis' fight to win.
And the whole thing with Chimaev too that I'm really trying to know in this one is if his cardio is there. You know, with again, I'm always going back to the Usman fight. With the Usman fight, his cardio looked today. I say this. How about I say this? How about we say this? I'm not gonna pick anybody in the main event. But if it's the finish, I think it's Khamzat. And if it goes after four rounds or more, I think Du Plessis wins by decision or a late finish. But 3 rounds and under, I think it's a Khamzat fight. That's the best I can do.
Chael Sonnen gave his take, saying the fight would be decided in the opening moments. He predicted Khamzat would storm forward, hunting that first takedown before either man even broke a sweat. If he got it, everything would come easier after. If he didn't, the momentum could swing fast.
Chimaev is going to come out very quickly, and he's going to test the waters of a takedown. Now, whether he throws some punches and goes to it, or he just comes across the cage and keeps that very momentum going and goes in on those legs, his best chances to get a takedown are when he's got the most energy, which is right then at the beginning, and when the opponent is the driest, sweating the least, which again is right when that contest starts. But he's either going to get it or he's not. And that's where the problem comes. If he gets that takedown, he will change Dricus in that moment. If Dricus is to get up to his feet or even survive, Dricus will now be different, which is going to make him easier to take down a second and a third.
Chael added that if Du Plessis stuffed those early attempts, the fight could stay standing, and over time, a dangerous striker can chip away at even the best wrestlers, especially once fatigue sets in.
And if Dricus can do one of two things, defend Chimaev's takedowns, or convince Chimaev that he can defend his takedowns, and therefore so Chimaev just doesn't try. That's where all of a sudden you find yourself in the stand-up battle. And while since 1993, since the beginning of time when they set that octagon up, the grappler has done better than the striker.
Finally, Chael predicted one man would run out of gas completely. If it came down to that, he leaned toward Du Plessis being the last man standing. This fight was always going to be chaos, different styles, different strengths, and the question of who could dig deeper when it mattered most.